The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Welcome to Service Matters, a weekly radio show that talks about the good things that are happening in local communities and beyond. We also like to talk about the good things that people do to make a difference, and in many cases, to make dreams real for some folks out there that may possibly be in need. You're listening to WPRO here in Providence, the voice of Southern New England. You can hear us on AM 630 or FM 99.7. We are indeed a Cumulus station. I'm Dave Clifton, my co-host Val Perry, not with us today. She has some other commitments. But today we're going to talk about public safety. A big thank you to our producer here at the TV studio, Adam Carrero. And we thank Brett Ferruccio back at Providence. He is the executive producer of WPRO. And I can't believe it, the fact that we've been doing this show, Service Matters, for 14 years, talking about good things that happen. And of course, the world's gotten a little crazy, so I think the good things are so important. We had a chance on many occasions to pat people on the back for the good things that they reach out to do in their local communities and beyond. Today we're going to talk about public safety and how important public safety is. Obviously, public safety matters. That's what our show is all about. And our guest today, we have Police Chief Kieth Boone, as well as Fire Chief Juston Alexander, both from the town of Easton, Massachusetts. Fairly new, but not brand new here in the town. And of course, what a beautiful community, folks. Lots of history here. And of course, this town will be celebrating their 300th anniversary in the year 2025. But let me first of all congratulate both of you on the new building that was just voted by the taxpayers here in the town of Easton, Massachusetts. That's spelled E-A-S-T-O-N. I don't want to get it mixed in with Easton, Massachusetts, because they're basically in the southern part of the Bay State. Let me welcome you both and thank you so much for joining us. I know you got busy schedules, and it's nice to be able to break out and to talk about the good things that are happening. Let's talk about the new facility. Where is it going to go? What departments are going to be housed in it? I'll start with you, our police chief.
Well, thanks, Dave, for having us. Number one, it's great to be here and talk about positive things. So our new facility is scheduled to be built at 524 Depot Street, the old Gill property, right off of Depot Street, Route 123. And we're going to have a combined facility with police and fire headquarters, DPW, and water. So it's going to be a consolidated municipal facility. So it's really a one-stop shop for the community. If you need anything, police, fire, DPW, water, that's your one location. We're also going to have a fire substation in the north part of town as well. I'll let my brother on the fire side talk about that afterwards. But 524 Depot Street, Route 123, for the people that live in Easton, our community, they know it as the old Gill property that the town purchased back in 2014, I believe. And they carved out a section for this project, not for this project, but for a project with for municipal building. And here we are. So we're excited for it.
Of course, I know that Depot Street's a pretty busy street, but I'm assuming that you'll have a red light there or something that controls vehicles coming and going, especially in an emergency situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And that road was just redone. If you've commuted here the last few years, you may have been stuck in traffic for a while. They widened the road, they redid it. It's state of the art. Mass DOT redid the entire road, so it'll be a good project.
And Fire Chief Juston Alexander, I know you had about 7 years experience over in Plainville, Massachusetts, and we're lucky to have you in the town of Easton. I've been so impressed because I'm running a celebration here in the town with all the town department heads. They've all been very cooperative, top-notch people. The superintendent of schools, she's one of the best. And so hats off to both of you. You're in that category. But, Chief, you're going to be part of that new facility, and you certainly have to have a facility that can accommodate your apparatus. Tell us about it.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having us. Yeah, a new facility is it's really, it hasn't quite even set in yet. It's a little surreal that we're going forward with it, and we're very excited about it. It's going to change how we operate overnight. The big thing for us is that, you point out apparatus. The apparatus space we have now are small. The trucks are much larger than they were 50, 60, 70 years ago, and they just don't fit in. Things we knew about keeping ourselves safe from our own gear and the chemicals that we face, we didn't know about those things 50 or 60 years ago. We used to, put our fire gear in places where we would then put diesel fumes on it and, put it right around the trucks and chemicals and then wear it. And we didn't know. And we've learned a lot. And modern buildings are designed to take all that we've learned in the last 50 years and make what is a dangerous job safe. Safer, as safe as possible. We shouldn't be making ourselves sick in our own buildings. The job's dangerous enough when we go out on the road. And we're excited that our new buildings are going to give us the spaces to keep us healthy in our buildings and to operate in a way that's 21st century. We definitely struggle in the buildings we're in now, and we're excited that all the different spaces we're going to have, proper facilities, proper gender separation for our female firefighters, so many things. The list it's really endless.
We're going to come back after a short break and talk more about the importance of public safety, especially when you see what's going on around the world. You realize that how lucky we are to have a police chief and a fire chief with an entire department to certainly do the best they can in terms of public safety. You're listening to Service Matters. We're on WPRO, the voice of Southern New England. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Hello, welcome to Easton News. I'm Abby Kitchenham.
And I'm Jack Ryan, and together we bring you everything you need to know about Easton, including politics.
The annual town election is scheduled for Saturday, April 22nd, 2023.
Community events.
Be Inspired, Counseling Presents, a parent and child coping workshop centered around a new year and new beginnings.
And sports.
Pressure builds diamonds, so we live by that every day of practice, going into every game.
With APCSM guest segment Pet of the Week.
Hi, I'm Katie with the Animal Protection Center, and today we have a little Iris.
With help from special correspondent Wyatt Fain. Join us
for Easton News.
Playing 6 o'clock, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
Hi, I'm Jen from Fantasy Crafts. Turn your average household items into fun for the whole family. Let your imagination run wild. It was my decision. You be quiet over there. Fantasy Crafts, playing Monday at 3 p.m., Wednesday at 1 p.m., only at ECAT.
There's a storm.
Join me, Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, to explore the town of Easton and its interesting, engaging, ordinary, and extraordinary people, and meet a smorgasbord of guests, including artists, authors, musicians, business owners, community organizations, clergy, local leaders, etc., etc., etc. Community Forum at 3 p.m. on Thursdays and 1:30 p.m. on Saturdays. See you then.
Welcome back to another segment of Service Matters. Yes, we like to talk about the good things that are happening. And here in the town of Easton, Massachusetts, we have some great things happening with public safety. And I know that maybe for our viewing audience and our listening audience, we have two audiences today. It's not just a radio show, but hats off to ECAT, Easton Community Access Television, for covering our radio show. What do you see is your key responsibility as a police chief in the town of Easton?
Well, that's a great question. We wear a lot of hats in our roles, but as the chief, I've always believed in taking care of our people because they're taking care of everybody else. So I feel like the most important part of being a chief is understand your staff, understand what they need, and help remove any obstacles to make them successful. Because if they're not successful, then the mission is not successful. So I've always tried to never forget where I came from. I came through the ranks. I've grown up in this town. I've came up as a patrol officer, so I understand every component of the position, and I like to help foster that environment where we really take care of the people that are taking care of the people, as I like to say.
Who was your favorite instructor at the police academy?
Well, it was funny, you know, there was a guy named Dave Clifton, and for those that don't know, Dave, hats off to you. You've trained thousands of police officers, and you were my actual first CPR instructor, and we're dating ourselves about 23 years ago for me personally. So I've gotten to know you very well.
Thank you very much. Chief Alexander, our fire chief, I know you've got a big responsibility. Every town seems to be different in terms of who handles the ambulance. Tell us about it.
So the towns can handle the ambulance through a couple different ways. You can have a fire-based ambulance like we have. Some towns have, and cities especially more commonly have, either what they call a third service, which is a town or city-owned ambulance but not part of the fire department, or they subcontract it out to a private company to provide the ambulance service. The larger the community, typically you see those third services in the private. But when you're into a smaller community, you get the benefit of having firefighters who are paramedics and paramedics who are firefighters. So depending upon the call, we can do both tasks. We're not quite big enough to have both separate. So we like to have everybody trained to do everything. And that provides in a smaller community a much more involved and integrated feel for when you get a response. You have an Easton firefighter shows up that knows the community, that knows what's going on, that understands what's happening, versus when you have somebody from the outside, they'll do their job and they'll do it well, but they're not really as connected to the community. So our fire-based ambulance service is something I'm very proud of, and we have some amazing paramedics, and they serve this community every day, and they always answer the call, and it is a top-notch system for sure.
Justin, I wanted to ask you the same question I did ask the police chief. What do you see your responsibility being as the fire chief here in the town of Easton?
Well, we're very similar, and that shows because he stole my answer. So there, but no, keeping the firefighters safe and prepared and trained is, and by default, that protects the community, which is my ultimate goal, is to have the community be protected, protect life and property. Those are our two most important things. But the firefighters who go out every day and run those calls, I'm not the one doing those. That's what they do, and I trust them to do that job. So really my focus is making sure that they're properly trained, safe, have the equipment that they need, and have the guidance that they need to get their job done, and then trust them to go out and do their work every day. They don't need me out there telling them how to do every day-to-day stuff. Of course, we go to the bigger events that require more command and control. Well, that's our job. But I have complete faith in the staff to do their day-to-day job. And it's also a balancing act because you want to stay engaged, so getting your gear, my fire gear, and train with the staff, but at the same time, don't try to micromanage and let them do their job. So that's a balancing act for a chief, is to make sure you're engaged, but not micromanaging. And something I've worked very hard over the last 10 or 11 years now as a chief to make sure that I can do that.
It seems to me, just watching TV stations, a lot of fires have taken place around the country and around the world. You certainly are prepared. You get help and support from other fire departments.
So Massachusetts is one of the best, of course I'm biased, but has one of the best mutual aid systems. The fire departments operate seamlessly together, even if it's different towns or communities. I know that I can call Stoughton, I could call Rainham, who would border Easton, or I could call a community 100 miles away on the other side of the state, and they'll come here and operate very similarly. We use very similar terminology, similar tactics. We're all trained via same fire academies typically. So we're really good at providing mutual aid to each other. And I know that we can just show up in anybody's town when they call us and operate in a safe manner because we have a common thread and a foundation on how we operate. So our mutual aid packs, we all have packs, we've all signed on. So we provide mutual aid, there's no charge. And they provide it to us at no charge. And we build our responses around that.
Let me ask our police chief, Kieth Boone, do you have a sense of cooperation with other police departments if you have a major event? And I know that there are times when the state police comes in. tell us about that.
Yeah, we have great our counterparts around our border towns. We have mutual aid agreements with, and we reciprocate if they need any assistance. We help them as well. We belong to the Metropolitan Law Enforcement Council, so if we talked about the 300th town anniversary coming up. They'd be somebody who I would rely on for extra staff to help with traffic control and things like that. And depending on the needs of what we, like whatever the situation is, we would rely on the state police for certain, depending on what it is. So there is a layer of mutual aid that really expands very broadly depending on what the circumstances are.
That's terrific. And I know that we're going to speak a little bit about training that both firefighters as well as police officers go through. And they have their own academies. We're going to do that after the break. And we're also going to talk about the town of Easton's 300th anniversary. This is like sitting down having a meeting to talk about the celebration, but we're doing it on the air. And of course, we appreciate the fact that ECAT, Eastern Community Access Television, is covering our radio show that reaches out to the entire state of Rhode Island, southeastern Massachusetts, Cape Cod, as well as many parts of the state of Connecticut. So we're going to take another short break. I'm Dave Clifton, and we're talking about public safety. Hurry back, folks.
Hello, welcome to Easton News. I'm Abby Kitchenham.
And I'm Jack Ryan, and together we bring you everything you need to know about Easton, including politics.
The annual town election is scheduled for Saturday, April 22nd, 2023.
Community events.
Be inspired. Counseling presents a parent and child coping workshop centered around a new year and new beginnings.
And sports.
Pressure builds diamonds, so we live by that every day of practice, going into every game.
With APCSM guest segment Pet of the Week.
Hi, I'm Katie with the Animal Protection Center, and today we have a little Iris.
With help from special correspondent Wyatt Fain. Join us
For Easton News.
Playing 6 o'clock, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
In 2023, Easton is a tight-knit community of 25,000 people. But with the hustle and bustle of modern life, it's easy to forget our past. A time when Easton's population was 6,000.
Everybody knew who everybody was.
And there was respect.
There was respect for everyone.
When kids enjoyed great freedom and independence.
Everybody was poor at today's standards, but we all were in the same boat and we enjoyed life.
So join me, Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, as I explore what makes Easton so very special with some of its lifetime residents.
I think Easton has so much to offer, and if you're living in a community, you have to know it.
Watch Growing Up in Easton Tuesdays at 7 p.m. and Friday at 9 p.m. See you then.
Welcome back to Service Matters. Yes, we like to talk about the good things that are happening in local communities. Not just here in the town of Easton, but scattered throughout southern New England. You have police departments and fire departments that come to your rescue, and how important that is. And I guess it seems to be a way of life with these public safety buildings now that combine forces all in the same area, and utilizing a facility that can accommodate vehicles as well as classrooms and all the stuff that you need to do training. Let's talk about training, and I'll start with the fire chief on this question. What kind of training do the firefighters in the town of Easton go through in terms of being updated on how they can step up to the plate and do the best job they can for the residents here in the town of Easton?
Thanks. So, one of the things we talked about earlier was how we have paramedics and firefighters. So to become a firefighter in Easton, you have to be a paramedic, which is the highest level that you can have in the ambulance. And that's about a 2-year commitment to get that. It's often through a college. There's a few private institutions that do it as well. But that's a major undertaking, and that is the ticket, if you will, to get in the door. You need that to get in the door. Once you get hired with that paramedic, then we take you and sign you up for a fire academy through Massachusetts Firefighting Academy or one of their satellite operations that they have. So those are typically in Stowe, Bridgewater, Springfield, or a couple cities like Brockton and Fall River run their own as part of being an accessory to the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy. So they're helped by that. That program is about 10 weeks long. So once they get into that, they go into a 10-week boot camp, if you will, the drill school, where they learn all the basic tactics and strategies and how the equipment works. And they get a real foundation on firefighting. But one thing about the fire service, it's extremely challenging when it comes to it, is we pass information on from firefighter to firefighter. It's learned on the job, and it's by community, because Easton is very different than anybody around us. The buildings are different, the layout's different, the roads are different. So we're very much an industry where we rely on that institutional knowledge to be passed down. And if we don't pass that down, no matter how good our fire academy drill school is, we're going to it's challenging to operate in Easton itself. But we have great staff, and they're passing information on with a great internal training program. So we take it all together, and we produce a top quality firefighter and paramedic.
How right you are as the fire chief when you think about the town of Easton, Massachusetts. The historic buildings that you have here, they're like museums.
Absolutely.
And they have to be treated a little differently. The way they built those facilities years ago are a lot different than the way we build things today. Let me ask you, police chief, what kind of training do the police officers go through?
So initial recruit training now is close to 1,000 hours. So the police academy, a municipal police academy, is approximately 6 months now. So from day one to graduation, you're looking at about anywhere from 26 to 27 weeks. Then once you graduate, you come to us, and then we start training you even further. So we have a 12-week field training program where, similar to the fire side, it's more institutional knowledge. This is what goes on. This is how things are done procedurally in Easton, learning the town, learning those buildings, and so forth, before you would be deployed as an individual officer on the road. So it's a long process. Up until last year, we were a civil service department. We just separated from civil service. So now we're handling our recruitment and our testing internally. So from beginning to end, so to speak, it's about a year to take a new candidate, get him through the police academy, get him through the field training, get him ready to go out and deploy into the field as an individual officer. So policing's evolved. You've been in the academies doing training. When I went through it, it was 800 hours. They've already increased it. Just in 20 years later, it's 1,000 hours. Criminal law, criminal procedure, CPR, first aid, safe driving, community policing, dealing with those with mental health crises. So there's layers and layers and layers of education that we need, and we're giving it. So that's just a little bit about the Municipal Police Academy side of it. So I hope that helps.
Certainly does. And this would be a great opportunity and a time for me to congratulate the Easton Select Board. What a terrific job they have done in selecting department heads. And you two are a perfect example of very much at ease here on the year. And of course, you got a major job and a responsibility. And when you take a look at what's going on around the world, I think that's part of your training, is to update how you can take care of a crisis. Because it was even, I think myself as an instructor in CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, it's changed a lot since when I first taught years ago. I used to talk about taking care of one person who might have gone down and needs CPR. Now it could be groups. It could be 12 people, and what do you do? So the training has to kind of multiply with the time to bring everybody up to date. And when I think about your new building, which of course is not built yet, especially it's only a week after the vote, but the fact is that this building is going to accommodate a lot of different things, and it's going to be something that will be here for years to come. So again, I congratulate the Select Board for making the right choices and making the right recommendations. And I know there's a 5-member board here in the town of Easton, and they work together and seem very positive. So I congratulate them very much. I did want to talk about our anniversary celebration. I say ours because I live in the town of Easton. And we have the town celebrating its 300th anniversary scheduled in 2025. And although we're approaching 2024, time goes by quickly. And I thank you both for participating. I know our police chief is involved with security, and our fire chief is going to be involved with the fireworks and the bonfire. And we have all the department heads in the town of Sharon that are on board. I haven't had anybody say no to me, whether it's a donation or whether or not it's wanting to volunteer. Everybody seems to be on board with this. And isn't it about time that we actually have an opportunity to celebrate this community and to celebrate the history of the town of Easton? So I wanted to mention some of the events that are coming up. The celebration kicks off with the first day celebration. That's scheduled on January 1st. We're hoping to have this celebration on that particular day at the school facilities. We're hoping to include, if we get a sponsor, to have a laser light show. We're going to have an art festival weekend that'll take place. We also intend to have a fireworks display that'll take place on June 14th, Flag Day. Not only do we have a chance to celebrate the red, white, and blue, the American flag, but we have a chance to celebrate the town of Easton. And we hope to maybe shoot off 300 fireworks to celebrate our anniversary. There'll be an all-day picnic, and there'll also be a band concert from 7 to 9 p.m. prior to the fireworks going off at 9. We have a parade scheduled for July 4th. It's been a long time since we've had a parade on that particular holiday. It seems that every other town has something on July 4th. But we thought that we'd fill the entire street of Center Street here in the town of Easton. The parade will start at the monument. Lineup is at 9 a.m. The parade starts at 10. It'll end with a block party in the center of town on the main street. We hope to put up banners that salute the sponsors and remind everybody that it's our 300th anniversary. We have a bonfire that's planned on Columbus Day. We also are going to finish the celebration with a gala, an anniversary gala that will take place at Stonehill College. We thank the president, Father John, for giving us the opportunity to use the college. They, too, are part of our community. And, of course, we're going to roll out the red carpet. We're going to put all the blinking lights up and have them flash. I know some folks will think they'll be going into Broadway, but instead they'll be going into Easton, Massachusetts, the home site of this big-time celebration. So we're excited about it. There's a lot of things that we need to do, and number one, to get as many volunteers as we can to participate. It takes about 25 or 30 volunteers just to run a parade. But all the events, including the art festival, the bonfire, certainly the first day celebration, we got some terrific coordinators that are heading up each of these events. But time goes by so fast, before you know it, it'll be here as we plan and prepare for this historic celebration that folks will remember for years to come. There's going to be an anniversary book. There's going to be a cookbook that's going to be put together with your favorite recipes. And I know that The anniversary book will cover all the events that people will be able to purchase at the end of the celebration. We're just about ready to take another break. It'll be our final break, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk to both the fire chief and the police chief about what they could suggest to a young person that may want to be a firefighter or a police officer someday here in the town of Easton. What's the procedure? What should they be thinking about? How can they get some training ahead of time? That kind of stuff. So we'll be back. We're listening to, we hope you're listening and watching Service Matters. A big thank you out there to the Navigant Credit Union. They have 24 branches in the state of Rhode Island. And I'll tell you, if you're looking for a loan, maybe you'd like to purchase a car, maybe you'd like to go on a vacation. Go visit one of the 24 branches. Tell them that Dave sent you. We'll be right back after this message.
Hi, I'm Ron Van Dam. I've been in radio for 3 decades now and have been doing a daily podcast-style show for a few years. But once a week, I come to the ECAT studio where they give me wine and cheese.
Hey, welcome to the program. How are you? Good to be with you. Hey, you're looking good today.
Thanks for being here. Make yourself comfortable. This won't take too long. It'll be a little bit painful for you, but in the long run, it's important for you to go through this. And I do a TV version of the podcast. I talk about what's going on in the world and in the area and give my opinions on things. That's both something to look forward to and also a warning. So tune in to see me move my mouth while I talk. Who knows? We might have something in common. Probably not, but you never know. Catch my show here, The Ron Van Dam Show, right here on ECAT.
It's The Ron Van Dam Show. Hold on tight. Things can get a bit weird if you like that sort of thing.
Here we go. My name is Harrison Young, and after 13 years of talk show experience, I seek to bring you the best in interviews with some of the very best guests around, including, and here we are, experts.
I've seen thousands of demons actually come out of the mirror one time.
Wow. Musical guests and artists.
If I say how I feel, would you really listen?
And interesting characters of all types.
I threw that kid across the classroom. Look, he didn't try that ever again.
Wow. Join me at Topic Time on your Easton cable station anytime they want to play it. And what I understand, that's quite a few times a day. I love it.
Don't have time to sit down and watch ECAT programs? Don't worry, ECAT has got you covered. That's right, ECAT has
Podcast!
Yes. ECAT Podcast Channel has your favorite shows that you could listen to. Whether you want to chill and listen to the Ron Van Dam Show and hear him talk about what's bothering him that day, or the show hosted by local legends Stephanie Weinstein and Meredith Keach, where they talk about anything and everything, or take a listen to the weekly news hosted by Jack Ryan and Abby Kitchenham. Stay tuned in with Tiger Talk hosted by Oliver Ames students. Community Forum is where their host Priscilla talks about all things Easton. Easton residents can also find government meetings about various topics. You can find the podcast on Podbean and all your favorite podcast platforms. Just by searching ECAT or the ECAT Podcast, you can find it all. The ECAT Podcast channel is powered by Podbean, so either in the car ride or walking around town, you can always catch what's going on with ECAT. Happy listening!
Welcome back to the final segment of Service Matters. I'm Dave Clifton. I've been doing this show for 14 years, and over the years I've had people from Connecticut, from Rhode Island, from Massachusetts talk about public safety. I thought it would be a good idea to have a couple of people that are from my hometown that could talk about their vision and, of course, how they feel about the importance of public safety. And you heard it from them. They're talking about doing whatever they can to help the residents of the town. And I wanted to start with you, Police Chief. Ask you once again, what should people do if they're in trouble? I know that we talk about 911, how important it is for young people out there to make sure that you don't call just to try it, only call if you have an emergency.
Yeah, I mean, when 911 specifically, we actually just went over to the local elementary school today, and we're talking to the kids about 911 and when to use it and when not to. And obviously, the big thing is if you need help, we're here to help, and that's how I envision our police department. It's how it's always been for us. We're very community oriented, and we understand that a lot of times. You're not having a good day when you see the police. We recognize that, but we're here to help. And so what we want people to know is if you need help, if you're hurt, or if you need anything, you call us. We'll be there to help.
Terrific. And how about you, Chief?
Absolutely. So, 911, we always tell people, if you think you need us, call us, and don't worry about the business line. Just call 911. You're not going to get in trouble for it. Tell us what you need. We're going to be there. Police, fire, ambulance. We're going to make sure we come out and help. So anytime you need that type of service, we're here. And again, we're both very community oriented chiefs, and this is a great community who enjoys that type of engagement, and they respond and show up to all the events that we have. We had a very successful open house, and we're in the schools as well with our SAFE program, educating students to all sorts of fire and life safety things that we can teach them and have a positive impact in that positive relationship. So we really enjoy being a part of this community, and I'm thrilled that they love to have us as well.
It's amazing. The magic words that I hear quite often when we talk about public safety is community. Obviously, both of you have a great sense of community. And the other word is serve. How important it is to serve, not just as a chief, but all the officers that are involved in both of your departments. I always think about what Gandhi once said, and I quote, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of helping others." I know I'm a Rotarian, longtime Rotarian. Our motto is service above self. The Navigant Credit Union, our sponsor for this show, their motto is people helping people. The Lions Club, a big Lions Club here in the town of Easton, their motto is we serve. So everybody seems to have that word served in the middle of their conversations. I'd like to ask you both, and I'll start with you first, Fire Chief, what kind of advice can you give to young people that may be interested in being a firefighter?
So there actually is a fairly straight line path to becoming a firefighter, at least in smaller communities. So there's really two ways to do it. First, if you are a fire-based ambulance service, so your ambulance is part of the fire department and they run at the paramedic level like we do in Easton, the first thing you need to do is go get your EMT, which is the first level of leading into becoming a paramedic. There's multiple levels. So you get your EMT basic, and then you go get your paramedic. So once you get your paramedic, you take the civil service test. You can do those in parallel. You take the civil service test, which is a state-issued test, which is what we hire from in Easton. And if you have your paramedic and you're on the test, especially if you're a resident or a veteran, it stands a pretty good chance of being hired. I always give the young people advice like stay out of trouble. Don't get too many speeding tickets. Don't have any criminal record. Those are all the things we're going to be looking at. And then for the departments that aren't civil service, which are many around us, you get your EMT at the minimum, and more often your paramedic, and you can apply to them like any other job with an application. Sometimes they have a test or not, and you go through it. And if there's a department that you're interested in, I suggest you reach out to that specific department to learn what their practices are so you can maximize your chances.
Very good. Well said. And I know our police chief has some comments he'd like to make. If there's a young person, or maybe it could be a young adult interested in being a police officer. I've seen during the holidays at Christmas time or Hanukkah, young people wearing a fire hat or a police officer's badge, that kind of stuff, as they plan and prepare even at the young age.
Yeah. So similar to the fire service, there is a pretty direct path to this position. There's really two options. If you're an existing police officer, like working in the field right now, and you're looking to come to Easton, that would be an internal recruitment process that we would post a position, screen out the candidates, and then invite you into our world. For someone who's never done the job before and is looking to get into that field as a younger person, my advice, I had good advice from good teachers that have now come and retired. So I've always passed on the same information that was given to me. Be a good person. Have a good heart. If you're a good person and you really want to help people and you believe in something more important than yourself, then that's all it takes to be a police officer. It really does. We can train you on all the nuts and bolts of actually how to do it, but you need that. You need to be a good person, and that's what we want. That's what policing demands. So if you're a good person, you'll find your path. It's really just keeping an eye out for recruitment brochures and things like that. And, we need educated police officers too, and not just in criminal justice anymore. Sociology, psychology. We have a alarming mental health issue across this country that having some knowledge in that area, not even an advanced degree, but some type of knowledge on how to deal with those things, tremendous advantage to get into policing. And we have a mental health clinician in town. We have police officers with advanced training in mental health. It's helped us immensely, and just in the last 5 years. So that would be my advice.
Good advice from both of you. You're talking about being a good person. I couldn't think of a better show for you to be on than Service Matters, as we talk about good things. I guess we're coming to the conclusion of our show. I can't thank you both enough. Fire Chief Juston Alexander, and of course our Police Chief Kieth Boone. You folks were very appropriate for being on this show. And I say to folks out there that if you want to do something good to help someone out, do it with the dignity that it deserves. And if you're moving into town, or maybe you've been living here for a number of years and you'd like to get involved in the 300th anniversary celebration, go online and look it up and certainly join. If you'd like to share your time, your talent, your ideas, your resources, and in many cases your funds that will help make dreams real, we welcome you with open arms. That's going to end our show. On behalf of my co-host, Val Perry, she'll be back next week. I thank Brett Ferruccio, our producer back at the studio in Providence. And I thank Adam Carrero for being our producer here. This telecast and broadcast is a production of WPRO, the voice of Southern New England, and ECAT, Eastern Community Access Television. Go forth to serve. I think the Patriots are going to have a winning weekend because they have a bye, but we certainly wish them nothing but the best. So, folks, enjoy the holiday weekend. A happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and thank you to both the Police Chief and the Fire Chief, Town of Easton. They were terrific guests today.